Anders from Unleashed, and you're watching Richard Metalfan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 335 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews, calling from Zoom here at my new place, and have round two with Anders from the Almighty Unleashed. Thanks for coming back on, man. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I am hungover, but good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but it's great to be able to talk with you again today because now we have some new Unleashed music coming out in August. You have the new album "Fire Upon Your Lands" coming in August. So, can you talk to me about like the whole writing and recording process, how the new album came to be, and that good stuff?
Sure, I'll try. Yeah, actually, yeah. I don't know if you saw, but the first single, the video track is out now, also, so you can check that out.
Fucking
But
badass.
yeah, it's well, it's like we always do it, more or less. We've been writing for since the last one came out. It's like an always ongoing process. So it's just been, I don't know when that came out. It's been a couple of years, I guess, maybe three. I don't know, but yeah, so it's like as soon as we do something, we keep writing. So it's always kind of ongoing. So it just kind of there's stuff that's at least 3 years old or whatever on the new one, and things. It's play a lot of shows and stuff as well. So it's not like we have a certain like period of time we're going to write stuff and do stuff. We'll just keep doing it until all right stuff is ready, and then we start like putting the last bits together, and then we do the record. And sometimes it takes longer because you got other stuff to do. Sometimes it comes quicker or whatever. But so it's like that's kind of how we're used to doing it, and it's good. And then as soon as we get, I guess it after a couple of years, it's always like, oh, you know what, we should start like, because if you don't plan for something, it's never going to happen. So you just keep writing stuff, and then like this stuff is ready. It's like, okay, now we got to set a date when we want to do this. Talk to labels or whatever, and then like, okay, we want to have it done by a certain date, and then we start like really doing like the last bits is when it gets a bit intense, because the whole time before that it's just been kind of mellow writing, like putting stuff together, and then like towards the end it's like, okay, now we got to get the shit in gear and like make sure everything is perfectly put together, and then like set the studio times and go for it. Right. So it's kind of it's how we do it, always have, I guess. It's comfortable. Yeah. And then just because we let me think, we went to the studio actually. Time is weird, but no, we actually went in the studio a while ago to start, because I think actually it was supposed to have an earlier release date. So we were a bit pushed. Okay, it's going to be done by a certain date, so we like had to like get on it, and then actually the date got pushed back a bit. So it's like, oh shit, oh well, we didn't rush it, but which is always good to have kind of a positive stress kind of thing is good. So it's good to have a date so you get it done. But I guess we could have we didn't have to. We would have had more time, but it doesn't matter. But so it's actually been done for a while. So it's just the release date that got pushed back until kind of the end of the summer instead of the beginning, I think.
Yeah, cool.
For whatever reasons, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, did you want to like continue in the same vein as No Sign of Life, or with Fire Upon Your Lands, you wanted to try something new or different that Unleashed hasn't done before?
Well, I mean, yeah, no. I mean, it's the thing with this band is it's always kind of a constant. It's I think we probably talked about this the last time, but you always got to hear that it's Unleashed. If you put the record on, it's got to be noticeable that it's an Unleashed record. So you can't really sway too much and go crazy on weird shit, which is something we don't. But still, yeah, I mean, it's still got to be progress. So we do something. It's still in the same vein, but of course, I mean, you try to progress a bit and do some, but there's of course not major, we don't go and, like this band from the start has been said to be what it is. So there's no like going off and doing rock and roll stuff or whatever, but we try to, make progress within what we are and what we do. So, and I think I mean, I still think it's a strong record. It's got good songs on it. So I think it's actually, but it's probably pretty similar to the last one, but then again, the last one is kind of similar to one before, but you just kind of veer off a little bit and like progress. But yeah, so that's what we try to do. And I
Yeah.
think yeah.
Yeah, because definitely like you guys have evolved from like where No Life Dwells, from Shadows in the Deep to now with Fire Upon Your Land. So it's fair to say that there's like a natural evolution in Unleashed. Like you still try to make Unleashed, but you could also add some like new sort of like ideas to make it sort of like fresh and consistent.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. Because I mean, we said that actually from day one when we started this band. It's like it's going to be death metal, and it's not going to like because there's a lot of bands that like, oh, after a few records they start veering off somewhere else, and they incorporate a bunch of like not necessarily bad, because I mean that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But we always said it's got to be unleashed. And if you want to do something different, then you got to be in another band. It's like you have to. There has to be like a line. What do you call like a from the? I mean, like the first one and the last one, there's a big difference, but you can still tell it's unleashed. And that's kind of the point. So there is progress. It's just that you kind of progress within what you do. And that was always important to us. And we said it, from like when we started the band, it's like this is this is what it's going to be. It's like, of course, we didn't think we were going to do this like 36 years later, but there was never any like, there was never anybody that was like, shit, you know what? I want to put some jazz in here. I want to do some rock and roll stuff. It's like, it's got to be death metal. It's got to be unleashed.
Cool. And of course we've already heard like the new song War Comes Again is like a fucking badass song. With that song, is that sort of like the whole like sound of Fire Upon Your Lands, or is there like more to be discovered?
No, more for sure. It's I mean that's also the point. I mean, like whenever you do a record, it's got to be like there's got to be dynamics in it. You can't just like which I don't think we ever do. There's got to be some groovy stuff. There's got to be some fast stuff. There's some D beat stuff. There's like, it's because that's also, I mean, if you'd make like kind of like everything sounds similar, you have like 10 or 12 whatever songs and they sound kind of alike. That's kind of, you're not getting any dynamics in that. So there's got to be slowdowns. You got to put them in the right order to make it, to the whole, so the whole record flows and whatnot. So there's definitely a lot more than just that one song. But I think, I'm not sure why we chose that as the first single. I don't remember the thought process behind that, because there's a bunch of songs that could have been like any one of the songs could have been like one of the singles or whatever. So it's so I'm not sure. We probably voted or something. I can't remember why we decided this one, but there's easily it could have been any one of the songs on the record. They all have a bit of a different feel to them. So this is the one we went for this one. But yeah, there's definitely shit to be discovered on the record as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say like the overall like themes and messages are for Fire Upon Your Lands?
You mean like the theme of the record, kind of?
Yeah, sort of like the themes and sort of like the whole like concept.
Yeah, because I mean, again, it is another like kind of a concept album. So because like the last few ones, I don't remember exactly which, but it's a continuation of the last one basically. So I mean, it's like a whole storyline from I mean, I guess it's like 3 albums ago now. There's like it starts a storyline and it keeps going on until this one. So it's just a continuation, which is, I mean, now, nowadays people listen to, streams and stuff like this. I mean, it was kind of easier back in the day whenever we bought the records, because, you'd sit and look at the lyrics and shit like this, when you're younger. So I'm not sure how many people do that anymore, but it is actually, if you just, if you look at the record and if you actually read through the lyrics and stuff and the previous ones, there is actually a whole story that goes from there to here the whole way through it, which is kind of cool. I mean, I'm not sure how many people actually read lyrics anymore, but so there is like a concept which is like this kind of a modern, taking the Viking age into the modern time somehow. Yeah. So I recommend people just actually reading through it, the lyrics for the whole album, and the ones before too, to get the whole story, because it's a bit too vast for me to even try to explain.
Yeah.
You kind of got to read it,
Yeah, and like you said, you did mention that this is also sort of like a concept album, and sort of like with the previous album. So for a listener, should like a listener listen to like, I guess, like The Hunt for White Christ, to No Sign of Life, to now Fire Upon Your Lands, or can this be approached like from different like angles?
Yeah, I mean, of course, every song is like, I mean, every song stands for itself too, lyric wise. I mean, it's proper song lyrics, so you can. I mean, you could actually take any of the songs and not have the concept. It would still be like, it still makes sense, which I guess is kind of the tricky part if you're gonna write this stuff. Because like to have it a standalone song with a lyric. I mean, if it was like a story and you would just like, what's this song about? Because that doesn't make sense because you have to listen to the one before or after or whatever. But they actually it works standalone as well. Like a, you know, it could be a lyric that you would. I mean, whatever. What's a lyric? You know, there's a song about something, so every lyric is like a chapter. You know, and they still work. They still make sense when you just listen to one song or two songs or whatever, or in different orders too, I guess. But if you want like the whole thing, you should read them all. You know, but it works either way.
Cool. And I think we might have talked about this the last time we spoke. So is there kind of like a lot of research that goes in hand with sort of like these concepts? Because I know you also talk like the Viking and Norse mythology kind of themes with this.
I mean, does all the lyrics, obviously, but yeah, he spends. I mean, this whole thing was meant to be, and I'm not sure if it still might. And I'm not sure if that's a secret, but it was supposed to be a book he was writing, and with this whole thing, and it still might be, I guess, in the future, who knows? But he decided to make it into the songs and the lyrics and the albums or whatever. But it still might turn into a book at some point later. I'm not sure, but this was the whole idea and the concept.
Good merch idea, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it still might happen, I guess, in the future. I don't know, but I mean, he's a busy guy, so it's hard to do all. I mean,
pick that shit up ASAP.
but that's the whole point of it was this, and that's actually. But yeah, he puts in a ton of research because I mean, he incorporates like stuff that actually happened, dates and whatnot and like characters and all this stuff. So there's actually, and then just makes it into a modern setting. Like I don't even know how he does it, but yeah, he puts down a shitload of time and effort into that. So there's definitely a bunch of research.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, still talking about like the first single, "War Comes Again." I heard that like so many different elements from you guys. You still have the death metal, but also have hints of black metal as well. So it's fair to say that like you and Johnny and everybody in the band sort of like brings like their own kind of like influence and styles into Unleashed.
Yeah, I mean, there is there in the last few but I mean it's I mean we're always going to be a death metal band. It's something we always said, you know, we always will be. But yes, that's like one of the ways of progressing, I guess, is to put in like elements from other kind of genres or whatever, and then just making it your own. Because there's definitely some black metal stuff on there, and there's like some thrashy stuff, and there's it's just to put them together, just so it doesn't get all too like doesn't go in too many directions. It still makes it like a solid track, but you have different elements. That's kind of also a bit of the key to make progression. You know what I mean? So you can use other things. So I mean, you can put in thrashy elements, but it's not going to be a thrash song. It's going to be a death metal song, but it's got some thrashy stuff in there. And like, I mean, there was what song is that and what record? There's a couple of records ago where there was actually one song that's kind of almost got a bit of like prog thing going on there. Like it's a bit proggy even, but it's you don't notice it, you know, not like, oh wait, that went proggy, but there's actually just a hint of it, but it works as death metal, but it just got that weird like small hint of something, you know, which is kind of a cool way to do it, I think.
Cool. And kind of switching topics, because I know recently you played Maryland Deathfest last week, and I had the privilege to see you guys for the second time. So how did that go?
That was great. It was a good show. It was I mean, Maryland is always a great time. I went and stayed for the whole fest more or less, and just met a bunch of cool people and old friends that you don't see often because we're not over there very often, you know. And it's always a bit because I mean that's what is it, the second festival we do this year, so we haven't done anything since we haven't played live since I think December was the last one. We did one festival a few weeks ago before Maryland, and then this one. So it's always kind of, you know, you got to get back into it. But it worked great. It was a good show, good crowd. It was fun.
Yeah, because I remember meeting you and of course Johnny after y'all set, and I thought that set was fun. You guys like kicked ass. I remember seeing, of course, your fellow Swedes in Dark Funeral were watching you, and I remember like Frederick kind of like gave like Johnny like a little like mead and shit out of the horn. I thought that was fucking badass.
Yeah, yeah, that's always the the horn thing, because we always drink and toast to the crowd every show, whatever. So then always, if we have a friend or somebody at the show, we always get them to bring it out, because it's like a celebration of everything, just to the way it should be done, more or less. So it's always like anytime you're at a show and there's like people there, whatever. There's always, you get somebody to go. I know he had to rush to get from their set to get to ours to be.
Yeah, that was kind of me too, because I saw Dark Funeral set, and then right after they ended, I had to like really run to the other side to get to there. And I remember just managed to. I think I might miss like a first song or so, but I still caught like pretty much about
really
like.
tight with the schedule,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
kind of far to walk too from the far stage to this one. So I'm surprised. I mean, a lot of people. I was kind of thinking like, okay, so there's actually kind of a long way to walk, and they end like the same minute we're supposed to start. So I'm thinking, how's this going to turn out? But it was actually quite good.
Yeah, it was crazy. See the way it was set up. Like I was trying to like wait for like cars to pass so I don't get like ran over.
Yeah, no, that's a kind of a weird setup there for this. It's a fucking freeway in the middle of the whole festival, kind of weird.
Yeah, but it was cool. Like I remember watching you guys, and then I remember like Frederick or Adramelech like was still like came out with his still makeup on, watching y'all play. Then I remember he come back out, and the rest of the guys came in. I think they got demaked up fast. So
Yeah,
I thought that was still one of the best shows I've seen from you guys. That was only my second time seeing you guys play.
Right, cool. Yeah, no, it was good. It turned out well. It was. It's always that stage it's slightly weird. It's the way it's kind of like set up, kind of half inside, half outside, somehow a bit strange. But it was good and it worked out well. It was. I'm very happy with the show, and it was like crowd was great. It was awesome.
Cool. And of course you played with some of the US crowd.
So how would you compare like the US crowd reaction to like over in like Sweden or Europe?
Wow, I mean, there's maybe a bit more. I think maybe the American crowds move around a bit more. There's always maybe a slightly more element of like the mosh pit and stuff like this, a bit more than Europe. But I mean, it's not super. There's not a super big difference. But it's a. I mean, it's one good thing is, I mean, even if like in some countries in Europe, like some people are not great at English or whatever, they don't hear what you're saying sometimes. So it's easy, like in in the States, because you get a lot good crowd reactions because everyone knows what you're saying, like 100%. People are really into it, and people are like, the crowds are active, maybe a little bit more active in the States than in Europe, for instance. But then, of course, you got like South America when they're like even more active and they go nuts, But it was good. It was a cool show, and they were loud. It was nice.
Cool. And kind of wanted to turn back the clock because there are 3 album anniversaries I want to talk about. First off being 30 years of Victory, and also 15 years of As Jagger Still Trembles, and also 10 years of Dawn of the Nine. And I think we kind of talked about it the last time, but do you have like the sort of like memories with those? And would you say like the band has sort of like evolved in terms of like the songwriting from those albums to like now with Fire Upon Your Lands?
Oh. Well, I mean, like I was saying, it was kind of, I mean, there's like, it's just natural how you do stuff. It's like, I mean, things might change somehow in the process of songwriting, but it's not really something you notice because it's just kind of, I mean, we've been doing it for a long time, and it's not like somebody else like, oh shit, I got a new idea. Let's start doing it this way or that way. It's more like, it just flows, and there's, I mean, obviously there's a big difference now from like 20 years ago or whatever, because then there was, I mean, the technology, because we don't even live in the same city, a few of us, so we don't really get a chance to meet up just to go practice, which like back in the day, it's like you 2-3 times a week you practiced, and like you went into the studio and like practiced, and you kind of wrote songs a bit differently because you were kind of like more jamming them, whatever. But now, when everybody not being in the same city, kind of far away, and like, so now it's, I mean, that's one of the good things about technology. You can actually do things, from a distance a bit. You can send stuff, and you couldn't do that before. So that's like that's a difference. But in general, as far as the songwriting goes, like the process, I mean, it's kind of it's kind of the same. It's like things evolve. You got a riff here and you got a riff there, and somebody. I mean, I'm sure like Freddie does most of the music. I mean, he's super busy with his studio and all this shit, so he's got like. So I don't even know really when he has the time to do it, but I guess that's why it's like it has to be an ongoing process from day one of the album coming out. You start writing for the new one because like there's no time to have like here's a month of songwriting or whatever. It's got to be done when you don't do other shit, So it's kind of it flows. I mean, like I said, I'm not sure exactly when he does it because he's super busy, but I guess he'll just sit down and write stuff and day by day shit evolves. I wish. It's been a long time since the U.S. tour.
Make America Unleashed again.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard about that fest. I know some friends of mine went.
Right. Yeah, I would say they have a cool lineup.
Yeah, might make a trek up to Chicago.
Yeah, but yeah, you should. But it's but that'll be fun. It's that so that actually twice in the States in 1 year, which is cool. I mean, I wish we could do it more often. But it's I mean, like the visas and stuff now, it's fucking tricky as hell to get over there. If you're gonna do it properly, because I mean, we had to wait for Maryland. I mean, it's the same visa for both the shows, but I mean, we were normally it takes a few months to get it approved and whatnot. But it's like we actually, I mean, fortunately, we're like, you know what, we heard it's a bit tricky or they can take time, so we started that process early. We're like, this is really early, but let's do it anyways. But it's like, but fortunately, yeah, it's because we started that process in October, and it was approved just like a couple of weeks before we were supposed to head out to Maryland, because we were like, we weren't even sure we were going to make it like for a while, because you can't book the flight before you get the approval, because then you lose your money. But then again, you can't get the approval without kind of booking. It's like this catch-22 kind of thing. So we had to wait super long and I think it was like two or in between 2 and 3 weeks before Maryland actually got approved. And then
I bet you all gave like a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, because I mean, it was actually because then you get it approved from the States. But then you have to book appointments at the embassy and stuff like this, which they don't have times. And you got to put your passport in, and they say it can take up to 2 weeks to get it back. And we're like, this is like literally, I was at the embassy 10 days before I was going to fly out. And technically it could have, I was like, that was close, but it worked fortunately. But it's like, it's nuts. If we hadn't, I mean, October to May it's a long time. And if we'd put it in.
So everybody, Andrew Schultz from Unleashed. Be sure to check out Fire Upon Your Lands coming out in August through Napalm Records, and we'll see you next time.